The hail hissed and spattered its way down the chimney, fizzing and spluttering as it hit the burning coal in Tommy's room. Some rattled against the fire guard, but the hard white specks soon vanished into sooty, watery marks in the hearth, making it as spotty as Tommy's face. And now it seemed that even the weather was making fun of him. It was all too much.
Spots. Serpa artus, spots.
Even saying it out loud didn't make him feel any better, and only got him a "Quiet up there" from his mam in the scullery below. But even worse, it had drawn his sister to his door, ready and more than willing to taunt him. Her lips, pressed close to the keyhole, seemed to make her words all the more jagged and cutting.
What's the matter, Tommy? Talking to yourself again? You know what happens to people who talk to themselves, don't you?
Yes, I do. Although for the life of him he couldn't think of anything, he liked the effect he was having on his poisonous sister.
What? Go on then. What does happen to them?
He could tell by the tone in her voice that he had taken her unawares, stolen her thunder, and for this brief moment he had her attention.
Go on. What does happen? They... You don't know, do you?
I do.
Yes? I'm not really interested, of course.
The turn people who talk to themselves into... He was struggling, and the more he tried to think, the blanker he became. If you really want to know, he said, you'll have to put your ear up close. He was stalling for time, and she knew it. He could almost see her, smirking through the door, happy in her victory. The turn people who talk to themselves? And then it occurred to him.
Speak up. I can hardly hear you.
He could tell by her voice that she was in position. The turn people who talk to themselves into?
Yes. Yes.
The turn people who talk to themselves into?
Yes. Yes.
The turn people who talk to themselves into?
Into horrible sisters who look just like you!
There was a shrieking and a clatter as the sister fell over with the shock of this outburst.
Tommy Fool, just you wait. I'll get you back for this. Just you see. Just you wait.
But Tommy didn't hear any more. He was jumping up and down, laughing on his bed, rich in this triumph over his dreaded sister. Her rantings died away as,
"Quiet, you two,"
came thundering up the stairs. This time it was their dad.
I thought this was supposed to be the season of goodwill to all men. I wish it were the season of goodwill to brothers and sisters. Why you two can't get on for once is beyond me, especially tonight of all nights. So pack it in. Do I have to come upstairs and sort you two out?
He obviously meant business.
Well?
No, Dad.
No, Dad.
And anyway...
Her voice was all too clear through the door. She had obviously regained her composure.
I'm sure Father Christmas won't be coming to anyone who's covered in spots. So you'll have to wait for another year before he comes visiting you.
He might have beaten her this time, but she really knew how to hurt him.
I thought I said quiet. I will not tell you again.
Yes, Dad.
No, Dad.
What? I mean...
Yes, Dad.
You, Elizabeth Fohl,
her Sunday name. She was really in trouble.
Get yourself downstairs now. You were told to leave your brother alone.
But, Dad, it was him. I
said right now.
Tommy took comfort in the sullen clumping upon the stairs as his sister, the unpleasant Elizabeth, scourge of these back lanes, made her defeated way downstairs. But she was right. He could see it all now. Headline news.
Tommy Phil, a children's enemy #1, causes Santa Claus to go home to bed, lie down in a darkened room and sip a whiskey. Heartbroken youngsters deprived of presents. Tommy Phil on the run. In the early hours of Christmas Day, Father Christmas was found dead, stuck in an orphanage's chimney. The apparent cause of death was spots, contracted after visiting one Tommy Phil.
It was all Daniel Penn's fault. Daniel Penn was a hero and a friend to all, especially if there was an exam to be avoided. For threepence, he would breathe on you, and such was his constitution of always having some transmissible disease that you were guaranteed to be off school the next day, locked in bed-bound quarantine, while the rest of the class were face down in their exercise books. This always saved a lot of wasted time learning spellings and tables, as you would never be there to be taken to task. He was always in demand, as tests were very popular with the teachers, but not with the pupils. Daniel was not a particularly attractive child. His constantly crisp shirt, coat and unravelled jumper cuffs, his green-candled, livid red upper lip gave him a ferocious look that never left him, not even in adulthood. But he was an honourable child. If you had not succumbed to the current lung-bursting malaise within 3 days, he would give you tuppence back on the third afternoon's playtime, or another blast from his germ-laden, drain-smelling breath. This time, the potency of Danny's throat had proved too strong and too late. For not only had Tommy come last in the spelling test, and had received a hand-swelling caning of particular severity from Mrs. Marchant, his falling ill at 5 minutes to home time meant that he had passed Danny's 3-day money-back guarantee. Not only this, he had missed the school trip to the pantomime and the school party, and now looked as if he was going to miss out on Christmas as well, and all because of these spots. Daniel Penn, as ever, although the cheerful carrier of life-threatening diseases, never succumbed to their symptoms and had probably had Tommy's portion of ice cream at the party as well. All of this, and being the most unsavoury and richest boy Tommy knew, there was no justice. He was even beginning to believe that it would be easier to try harder at school, but he put that down to being ill, and he would soon get over it.
So, how's my spotted dick tonight?
It was his father.
Are you going to come in, Dad? I haven't seen you for nearly a week.
Oh, sorry, our Tom. Doctor's orders. He says that whatever you've got is still contagious, and you wouldn't want me to look as bad as you do. I mean to catch your rash.
He knew what his dad meant to say. It was just that he had this knack of always saying things in the wrong way, so that they sounded awful.
Anyway, what you been up to today? Out interesting?
No, not much. I read me comic again. Painted some pictures.
Oh, really?
His dad sounded really interested. Tommy just wished that he would come in and see him, instead of all of this talking through the door.
Let's see them. Push them under the door and I'll have a look.
He obviously wasn't scared of catching the germs on his pictures.
Oh, yeah. A boat with a sail. Lots of trees. And what's this one? Father Christmas in bed covered in spots. Oh, you're not still worried about that, are you?
There was a pause, while Tom took a long deep breath.
No!
He lied, trying to keep a sob back.
It's just that sometimes... Jack! Jack!
His mother's voice boomed up the stairs.
Your dinner's out, and the doctor's here again. Tell our Thomas.
He was only called Thomas when he was in trouble, or when his